from Member Cook Tantramar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you to the Minister and staff for being here today to answer our questions. A lot of questions have already been asked, and I do think it is valuable to have the opportunity to speak about this. This will touch the lives of pretty much everyone. As soon as you leave your house, there's a chance that you'll see a car, and it's a public safety issue. So I think this warrants debate and questions. And I understand the purpose of this bill. I'm wondering if the Minister, through the Chair, I'd like to ask if the Minister could provide the rationale for the bill. I understand the purpose, but the rationale. Why does this need to be done? Thank you.
Thank you again to the member, through you, Mr. Chair. I guess it boils down to that was when you're campaigning, and I'm sure she found it herself. A lot of people bring ideas to her because it's not about me and it's not about you. It's about the people that bring the ideas to you. And my experience was when I got the information, and a lot of the other members, I suspect, even if truth be known, a lot of the opposition members had it brought up to them as well. Then when I was fortunate enough to be called to the cabinet table, and they brought that information to me, having checked with other jurisdictions, they had no safety issues or no concerns, and whether we like it or not, probably myself and the member from Fredericton North, that is one of the biggest issues that we do address, bring it into it, but we decided at the time there was none, and when people bring it forward, and it was discussed, I guess instead of why was it, I guess the question would be why not, I guess is the bottom line. And they decided, or they felt the people wanted it, and we felt the majority of people wanted it with little or no safety risk to society. So I talked to my staff and said we're moving forward with it.
Through the Chair, I want to thank the Minister for the answer. I guess I would argue, based on from what I've been hearing, that the front license plate isn't superfluous, that it does serve a purpose. I understand that it is not used in every jurisdiction, but some of the reasons why would be that it's a tool that is used by RCMP. I've heard from a bus driver who talked about how 80 to 90% of the vehicles which he was able to report, he was able to identify using the front license plate, and that's one of the things that he needed to use to be able to report. And so I guess those would be some of the reasons why that would be a safety issue. I would like to ask a question regarding a clarification on a question that was asked earlier. the list of different types of vehicles that were read, I just want to clarify that antique cars and the other vehicles on that list are already exempt from needing to use a front license plate. Maybe I misheard that. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes, it's not any antique vehicle. Any owner that has a vehicle that is an antique, that has bought the antique plates, don't use front license plates, and any the seasonal plates, they don't have a front license plate. So neither one of those have it now.
Okay, thank you to the Minister through the Chair. That is one of the arguments that I've heard in support of this, that so that vehicles that are antiques wouldn't need to have the front plates, but it sounds like that is already addressed in the legislation, so that's not a new benefit that will come for, if this bill is passed. I'd like to also ask a question around sort of the nitty-gritty of the cost of license plates. I believe the cost to a vehicle owner would be $50 for a set. I'm wondering, what's the cost to produce for, like, the government to buy the license plates? And I'm also wondering how many are issued. It could be per year or whatever numbers you have. Thank you.
To the member through you, Mr. Chair, I guess there's approximately, and this is approximately, 75,000 plates issued every year. With the cost, like if you go in to buy the plates, it's $50. But it's not, I guess, the cost of the plate, it's the cost of that $50 that is required by the province to put back into highway safety and highway programs and safety. I guess that's where if I understand it right.
Okay. Thank you to the minister. I guess that helps provide more context, and I guess I wanted to, I guess what I was trying to get at was the actual cost of buying the physical plates for the government, because that cost is going to change if the government is going to be buying half as many, for example. So I guess I was just wondering what those costs might look like. If you have it per plate, if you have an overall estimate of the potential cost difference for what that might look like, then that would be even better. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess again, it's the money that we require for highway safety, which is whether you get down. I don't know if you're getting at, is the province going to save any money by buying one plate from a dealer than buying two plates? Well, it's going to be minimal, and it's going to be balanced out. Right now is approximately $162,000 that we receive from antique plates and special plates and so on, which will be not brought in, but the saving with the plate, it's so minute, or the balance, and of course you don't know until at the end of the year when we negotiate with the company on the plates. But again, I just want to emphasize is that the registration money is not for the cost of the plate, it's for the money that we need to put into highway safety, I guess is where I'm going.
Through the chair, thank you to the minister. So I guess the number then of potential loss of revenue for the government is $162,000, and there may be other changes in other line items. Okay, I guess I wanted to ask one more thing, which is that there had been other license plate related commitments floating around, and I was surprised that the exempting firefighters from needing to pay for their license plates wasn't included in this legislation. I'm wondering if the minister, through the chair, could speak to whether that was considered as part of this legislation.
To the member opposite to you, Mr. Chair, yes, that is being considered, and I actually was asked, why didn't you put it together? Well, first of all, this is going through a flood. My volunteer fire departments are the most valuable asset I had out there. I want to, and I will be doing something for my firefighters. I didn't want it to be just all shoved together in one bill, I guess. I want it, when I am able to bring it out, I want the firefighters of this province who got us through a second flood will be able to say, my government is listening to me and appreciates me, I guess, is why it's not in this one.
Thank you to the minister through the chair. Thank you for the answer. I understand what you're saying, and I wonder if it has been considered that in addition to firefighters, perhaps search and rescue volunteers might be included in that type of legislation to have them be exempted from needing to pay for their license plates, since they're also serving public safety. Thank you.
Through the member, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll certainly take that one under advisement. Again, I want to make sure I've had the opportunity to talk to my fire departments. I take great pride in going around to as many as I can, and when we are talking to them, and the whole concept. Of course, you know more than better than most that sometimes it's cost prohibitive, but I don't think we could ever do enough. And I'll certainly assure you that it will be taken under advisement.
Through the chair, thank you to the minister for that response. And if you're visiting different fire halls, there's several in my riding. Maybe we could go visit together. I guess I asked about the rationale and the purpose of this bill, and so the last thing I want to ask is there some specific evidence or a study or something that that I could look to, or that was used to make this decision? I'm still concerned about the use of the front license plate as a safety tool, and I'm not convinced that that taking it away is the best decision. And so I'm wondering, can you point me to can the minister point towards what evidence or what study or what is it that could assure New Brunswickers that in addition to cutting red tape, that this is definitely not going to compromise safety? Thank you.
Thank you. To the member opposite, again to the chair. I guess this is one of those situations that I could build a case against anything if I go on Google long enough, and it is. But I think what you have to consider is you've got 10 other provinces now that have gone through this, and with no known safety issue. I sort of muse, and I guess I'll ramble here a little bit. I like to read in there the different debates and issues. Society, a lot of us just don't like change. And I was reading one of the books in there of when they put windshield wipers on vehicles and how the protests and the amount of groups that were against it because they're going to hypnotize us and they're going to do the numerous things. But people honestly feel anything that you bring out to change on them is not the way we've always done it, I guess. There is a school of thought that it is a risk and it's going to, and there is a danger. But when you look at the ask of your people and the jurisdictions that have gone through it and talking to them, and the technology that is used in other jurisdictions, I felt the balance was there, that it's the time to remove them.
Through the chair to the minister, thank you for your response. Google has not so far been providing me with my learnings on this. It has been constituents and people in New Brunswick who have said that this has been a safety tool for them as RCMP members or as school bus drivers. And so I guess I understand the minister listening to people who say they don't want the front license plate, and I guess I'm listening as well to the people who are saying that they do. New Brunswick in the past didn't have front license plates for a while in an effort to conserve metal during World War II, but they brought it back to aid law enforcement. So I guess from where I'm coming from, is the risk to public safety that is there worth it? I haven't seen. I guess that would just be my concern. I just want, I guess that's my sort of final comment. I don't have any more questions, and I thank the minister and staff through the chair for answering my questions and for their time today. Thank you.